do with our Zoom tonight is we're going to interview our first 3 people on our team that got the Christmas cash. And so that was the 4 loyal customers, and you got the $100 Christmas cash. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm having so much fun with this Christmas cash besides my last 2 loyals who were still out there and all ordered under 23 PV. You guys, I'm like dying because I'm like, oh, do you want to get 2 oils, not just 1? But that's okay. They're great people. Anyway, so I'm having so much fun with this Christmas cash. And there you are, Bobby. Let me unmute you. There you are. And I'm so excited, though, that we're going to talk to these 3 ladies who got it. And what we're basically going to do, you guys, is I want you guys to put any questions that you may have in the chat. But I'm going to spend about 7 minutes with each one of them. And I'm going to just kind of do like a Q&A style, just kind of talk to them a little bit. And then, like I said, any questions that you guys have, put them all in the chat. And then I'm going to get through them at the end. And then we can go back through and just ask all the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Bobby first. Miss Bobby, you were the first person on our team to get the Christmas cash. Whoop, whoop. And so let's start it off with you. So Bobby, before I get into the Christmas cash, I do want to know a little bit about you. So tell us who you are, where you're from, and then also when you got started, and then we'll go right into the Christmas cash.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Bobby. I'm from Benton City. I grew up in Tri-Cities. I live in Benton City now, though, and I started in almost 2 months ago. September.
Okay, and will you tell us, okay, Bobby, so when you were already having a killer month this month, but when Christmas cash was announced, did you right away get started and going for it? Or like, what was your first thought when you heard of Christmas cash? What were you thinking like, oh, I can pay, what would that $100 do for you when you first saw that promotion come out?
Honestly, I am saving all my money that I make for conference. So all that money is going towards that. I'm thankful to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's crazy what how far $100 can go for conference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for you, how long did it take you to get your first 4 loyal customers this month and get your
I honestly don't remember how long it took me, but I think all of them are from people I was talking to last month. So most of them are follow-ups, yeah.
So the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So, because I kind of knew that a little bit about yours, about how good you are at following up. So where do you typically find your leads? Because I know you're somebody that messages anybody and everybody. You message men and women. So these little customers, how many little customers have you signed this month so far?
I don't even keep track. Was that bad?
How many?
8.
Okay.
And she already had 4 before Christmas cash was announced. Placed 2. Or 3.
Okay, so all these people, were they all, like you said, from last month? So when you went to follow up with them this month, what did you say to them?
I try to keep in contact with them. Like, for the most part, I try to connect, like, make a genuine connection with them. I follow their Facebook and see what they're up to and carry on conversations about their day, check in with them, stuff like that.
And were each one, did you target each one as a product, or how did you follow them? Was it more so like, I'm looking for a product tester, or was it where you targeting the best one product?
I try to pay really close attention to people's Facebooks and what they're posting about. And I see somebody's having a stressful day or anything like that, I message them right away and ask if they want to try product. And I usually suggest something, or they'll ask for suggestions. But in the relationships that I make, like almost in every single conversation I'll have with that person, I always take it back to the product and what I think it could do for them. So I don't know if that,
No, I love that.
like it's a genuine connection, but I try to involve that as much. Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, because I know when we were talking at team training last week, there were a couple people that were saying that they were struggling with, like, how do you get back to the conversation of, do you want to try a product? Because sometimes we get so left field of, how are you, how's it going, and then we're like, yeah, I messaged them, to help me, and then now I'm like, I don't know how to steer back. So how do you kind of steer back the conversations to, so do you want to try it? What are your thoughts? How do you get back to that point?
I'm trying to think of an example. I basically just throw it in there. I'm kind of blunt about it. I genuinely feel like these people would benefit from it, and I just I go with that. And I feel like people feel that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's actually a girl I've been talking to for like a month since I started. She's somebody that I right away was like, I think she'd be good at this, and I think she would love the product, so it works both ways. And she was just talking. I was talking to her earlier tonight, and she's like, oh, so what if I was already a loyal and I want to switch, and what does it take to be a distributor? So it's like back and forth constantly with her, but I always try to, I guess I'll talk to her about her day. Like I'll look at her posts, and I'll start a conversation like that, and we'll start talking, and then something happens that day, I just try to say, oh, well, my greens helped me today, or, something like that. Like I always just take it back there. It's very casual.
Yeah, I like that too. But a couple of things that, just from what you just said, though, is that you are blunt. You ask the question, and I think that's why you're having such success with your customers, and why you were able to get the Christmas cash right away, is that you ask.
Mm-hmm.
Want to try it? Is it something that may work for you? That's something that we constantly train our team. It's just asking questions, and so you follow that. But also, not everyone. So people. Okay, so your lead, are they more so like Facebook comments and likes, posts, or you going out there and finding people and asking them the question?
Both, I guess. I asked Tawny. I was having a hard time in the beginning, and I'm like, who do I talk to? Who do I ask? I don't know who to ask. And she said literally everybody. So that's just what I do. If I think that, I'll sit down one day and I'll just go through my friends list and just pick random people, and I just message them. And I usually get really good feedback with that. And I usually use the verbiage that you gave. How's it going? Hope you're having a great week. That one.
I remember that conversation. Tony told me about that. When we were talking about, like, I just told her to message everybody, and she listened.
Yeah.
And it's true, though. But that's something that I think a lot of people in this Zoom can learn from you, though, is that to not prejudge anyone. To not look past anyone, because we never know what they're going to want, right? We never know. And even if they don't want the business side, and we kind of talked about this last week, but if you're right on the fence and they're not signing, they're not joining, then say, hey, you want to try a product first? Do you want to get on these products first? And then maybe they'll get like your passion going a little bit, be able to see results, and then guide you. So just getting them involved in this company somehow. So Bobby, really quick before we move on, how do you do your follow-up? Do you use voice messaging? Do you just message? Do you over the phone? How do you do it? You there? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there I am.
Did you hear what I said?
No, not at all.
Your messaging, how do you do it? Do you voice message? Do you message? Do you call? How do you do your follow-up?
I message a lot, and then if I don't get a response by like the third message I send, I'll send a voice message now. And then if I don't get anything back from that, I'm kind of annoying, I guess, but I call it persistent. And then if I don't get anything back, then I kind of try to interact more on their Facebook and see, because I want them to feel that, the genuine part, that I really do think that the products would help. There's literally something for everybody. Like, I was shocked. I reached out to a guy I went to high school with, and he wanted Lufthansa. And I'm like, that was random. But I asked him if he wanted to try a product, and he told me he had anxiety. So it just worked.
Yeah, and it's all because you reached out.
Mm-hmm.
Two more questions for you, actually, that just came to mind. How much time do you spend on your follow-up a day? And this is going to kind of go hand in hand together. So how much time do you spend on your follow-up a day, and typically how many messages do you send?
I would say I follow up at least an hour a day, at least. And then I probably send out messages an hour a day, and then I post too. So I don't know about how long that takes a day. I'm trying to work that in better. I'm going to start getting up early and do it some in the morning and some at night, because I work all day long, and I don't know if that's good or bad. It works for me some days, and some days I feel guilty because I'm doing too much. So.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit really quick. Because you do work, when do you follow up? What time of the day?
Most of the time it's in the evening. I feel like more people respond back in the evening. Like around dinner time, when I'm cooking dinner, I usually am on my phone, back and forth between cooking and talking on my phone, and I feel like people respond a lot then, right after work.
Awesome. Thank you, Bobby. I wrote down so many different things about what you said. So do you have anything else that you want to add to that before we move on?
I just want to say, like, don't be afraid to message anybody and everybody. I was so scared of what people were going to think, and then I just started doing it. I got over myself and just did it, and I was shocked with how many responses I got. So it's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Bobby? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Kayla said, I love that. This is totally what I needed. And Holly said, I followed for 6 months before I signed. And she said, voice messaging gets great feedback on Facebook, which is so true. Okay, I'm going to move on to Tammy. Miss Tammy, how are you?
I'm good, besides being frozen.
Good. So Tammy, tell us who you are, where you're from, and when you got started.
I am Tammy Taylor, and I live in Spokane, and I started June 6th.
Gosh, to the date.
This year. Yeah, well, it's my dad's birthday, so that's good mojo.
Nice. Okay. So Tammy, you as well have been on fire this month. How many loyal customers have you sent?
5 as of today, and I have one that I thought was going to be a loyal customer, but then he started talking to me about the business. So I'm calling him tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. And then I have another person that just messaged me after I signed my 5th one today. And I'm going to follow up with her this week. So
awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
So you've had quite a few people show interest. And I know in Kylie's message, I kept watching you. I'm like, oh, she's so close. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. And I knew
it's driving me crazy.
I know. So let's talk about that though, because you had so many people all month long that were on the line. So what was your best closing tip to get these people in? Because I know for me, I've had so many people all month, and then finally, like this week, they've been signing. So, I think sometimes for a lot of us, it's almost just like, okay, now what do we say? I know they want it, they've shown interest. Now what do we do? So what would you give kind of your best closing tip, and what's kind of been working for you this past week?
Well, the best, I don't know what it is. Whenever I do like a live video or post about my hair, skin, and nails, it's just like people flock to me. That's like, I don't even have to do anything. They're just like, how do I get it? So, but I did sign 2 that weren't on the hair, skin, and nails. One of them was with the Peppermint Bliss. And so that one was kind of like, oh, we need to get it going so that we don't run out, and that you have it for Christmas, because she's giving it for a present. So just kind of the sense of urgency on that one, because it's a limited thing. And the other one is actually a friend of mine that's going to have a wrap party in December, and she just kind of came out of left field on wanting to get the probiotic. So I have really, haven't had to work too hard to get them. They just kind of came to me. But, you know, a couple of them have been people that I've been talking to for a while. So
You have been working though, even if you don't think that, because a couple things that I just wrote down were the live videos, which takes work and takes a lot of getting over yourself and your fears and getting out in front of your whole Facebook live. Number two, posting your hair, skin, and nail results. You're a product of the product, and people want to see that. You know, and especially with this Christmas cash, saying, you know, I'm going for a huge goal. I am loving my hair, skin, and nails results. I would love to help you get the same. What do you say? We want to try it out. What do you think? You know, and just asking those questions. And like you said, listening to these, if those of you that are on here tonight, you know, listening to these keywords, the keywords of urgency, you know, Christmas gifts, Christmas is coming. Have you got everybody on your Christmas list? You know, who else do you have left to shop for? This is a limited thing. It's only around for this month. So as you're going and working towards your Christmas cash, things to learn from Tammy that I just got was, you know, do a live video. Maybe people just need, it takes you guys 7 to 10 times for people to be exposed to a product or a company before they say yes. So Tammy doing that live video, I guarantee you your potentials are like, oh, okay, you know, this is a real thing. She has great results and this is her results, and why don't I try it, you know? And then like you said, people are coming out of left field because they've been watching you. They've been watching you, and the same goes for Bobby. As Bobby was, you know, did her, she put in the work last month, she planted her seeds last month, and then those seeds sprouted this month, you know, and that fortune is in that follow-up. So the work that we do now, it's going to sprout this month and next month and July and January and February and March. So that's why we constantly want to be working and talking to new people, because our business is constantly going to be growing. So Tammy, you are another one that works. So let's kind of hear from you about when you work this business throughout the day, and then how much time have you been putting in to get your loyal customers for Christmas cash?
Well, I'm out on L&I right now because I hurt my leg, so I kind of have all day. So I just kind of randomly kind of do it throughout the day. I don't really have a set time right now because I really can do anytime. I kind of like look and see who's on Facebook and then like reach out to that person and have a conversation. And like Bobby, I watch and see what they might say on their Facebook, and then kind of bring the conversation to that point so that I can like offer them something. Yeah, so I probably more in the morning, and then earlier, like late afternoon, early evening is when I do a lot of messaging, unless they message me later. As far as how much time, I would say a couple hours a day.
How many messages do you think you send out in that time?
It depends on the day. If I start having a conversation back and forth with someone, then I'm not sending out as many messages. But yesterday, I think I sent out, if I could find, I think I sent out like 20 messages yesterday, like mid-morning, and then followed up with some people later in the day.
Out of those 20 messages, Tammy, how many yeses did you get?
Well, the ones that I did yesterday, I was messaging because I said that I was going to do a drawing, and I got one response back from the 20.
So your ratio was 1 out of 20. So
Right.
I hope everybody's listening to that right now, because your ratio, you guys, you're not going to get a yes every message, and you're not going to get a response every message. I love when I start messaging, I'm like, okay, what will my new record be? Is it going to be 1 out of 50? Is it going to be 1 out of 40? 1 out of 30? I'm always like, no, I'm going to get 1 out of 10 today. Like, I am so determined. But you guys, it's very, very rare. You're not going to have a yes every 5 messages, every 2 messages, every message. You know, you really have to get out there and reach out there and take a look at your market. You know, take a look at who you're talking to. Maybe you need to switch it up. You know, maybe you need to reach out to people that you really, really want on your team. And the biggest piece of advice that I could say is don't be desperate, be passionate. Be excited. Say, hey, I know you'd be good at what I do. Not, hey, I need you on my team to fill my box for my chart and for me to promote. Don't do it. Just please don't do it. Don't ever say it. That's not what we're doing. We want to truly help people. And like you said, Tammy, you know, we all follow up at different times. You know, Bobby was saying hers is kind of like dinner time when she's cooking. Great. And yours is kind of morning, late afternoon. I mean, everybody is different. So do what works for you. One of your pieces of advice that you said was when you get on Facebook, seeing who's live. I love that. Going to like your messenger tab and seeing who's live on there right then and there. That's a good idea. I love that. I'm going to start using that. Liz Clark said, so what do you guys do when you have people saying they want a product and then when you go in to sign them but they don't respond? What do you usually say for a follow-up, Tammy?
Well, the one girl that I did with the peppermint bliss, it took me a while. I knew that she wanted it, but she was busy. So I'm more stealth, I guess, because I'm a little more yellow than red. So I just keep the conversation going about how's her day going. And I know eventually that we'll get back to it when she can respond to me. So, you know, I just kind of keep in contact and wait until they can really engage and talk about, you know, signing up to get the product. And the one guy that I'm talking to tomorrow, I've been working with him like that, and his boyfriend has cancer, so, you know, he's kind of been a little distracted. So, but I just keep the conversation going about what's going on with his life and just kind of being a friend. And so now we're kind of back to the business.
Yeah. You know, and I like that too. And especially when people like, you know, they want it, you know, going to their page and liking their stuff and commenting on their stuff and just keeping track of them. And then, you know, putting by their name, you know, ready to sign, but, you know, put like a slash and distracted, like, but keep following up. Because the fortune isn't a follow-up and you never know when they're going to be ready. I've messaged a girl for almost a year, you guys, and she messaged me about tonight to my follow-up. And I'm like, why tonight? You know, and I think about that. I'm like, after I look back at our messages, and there were so many messages to her, never once responded. And so, like you said, Tammy, just constantly, you know, letting them know that, hey, I'm still here. I want to be your It Works girl, your It Works guy, that when you are ready, I want to help you. So keeping them knowing that you're around. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tammy. Do you have any last final thoughts or suggestions for sealing the deal or to help anybody on here get their Christmas cash before we move on?
Yeah, I do actually. I am like not very good at the whole live video thing and everything. So I kind of had to get out of my comfort zone with that. But I'm telling you, every time that I've done one, I've signed loyals. And in fact, I'm trying to figure out the best time to do another one with the WOW. And I know that Thanksgiving is coming up, so people won't be on. So I'm trying to be strategic about when I do it so that I can get the most people watching. And people really respond to your own personal results because they can relate more than just some random person. So if you have your own results or someone that you personally know's results, post those and talk about those because then they can relate to you a little bit more. It makes it more real, I guess.
I totally agree. And sometimes it's just that last little, okay, Tammy's tried it. I want to try it. Something that I was thinking about too, speaking of going live, like when's a good time to go live? I was thinking about posting today, Tammy, like when's the best times to post, you know? And I always think about that too, because like during football games, people are watching football, right? They're not on their phone. Well, most people aren't on their phone. Most of us can multitask though, right? But they are watching football, you know? And then, but then like, you think about that, like certain times of, okay, you know, but some people have better rates. You know, like Bobby was saying, I follow up during dinner time. And that's when she gets her responses. Moms are in the kitchen doing the exact same thing she is. You know, you, Tammy, you're targeting, you know, mornings and afternoon. You know, yours might be the stay-at-home moms, or yours might be people with an opposite schedules, a 9 to 5, but it's just interesting because I don't think there's ever really a perfect time to post or do something. It's just, you're going to be targeting different groups of people at all times. So I love that you brought that up though. I still can't get over the whole Facebook message saying people are live. I don't know why, like that just stuck with me when you said that. So awesome. And anybody has any questions for Tammy or Bobby, again, put them in the message. That's true, Holly. She said football fans are always posting the score. I did the same thing today. So they're always looking. That's so true. Cool. Well, thank you, Tammy, so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's move on to Miss Tani. Where are you at, friend? There you are. Okay, so Tani, tell us who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in the business.
Well, I'm Tani, since you already said that. I'm from Tri-Cities, and I've been doing this for 3 years. Just had my 3-year anniversary.
Awesome. Okay, so how many loads have you sent this month?
5.
And when did you get your Christmas cash?
A couple days ago.
Saturday, wasn't it?
Oh. I don't know when it was.
Maybe Friday. Okay, so kind of tell us a little bit about your follow-up. I mean, actually, what I want you to say first is when we were at Starbucks and you pulled out your journal or calendar, everybody, you had dates. Okay, you guys, she had her calendar, and she had all of her potentials on like the day they were going to sign with what they were getting this month. Okay, so however you want to organize things, if it's your phone, if it's a, your journal like I have, or if it's a calendar, whatever it may be, always make sure you put in their name, the date, and then what they're getting. So Tani pulls out her calendar, and then tell me, okay, so tell me at the beginning of the conversation, Tani, you're like, okay, all these people, this is what they're getting, this is the day they're signing, and then tell me what happened at the end of our conversation.
I'm not sure. We talked a lot about that day.
That
So yeah, I have a journal that I write everybody that I talk to. So I message people. Like, I message a lot of freaking people. So when I start having a conversation and they start to show interest, I write them down. I write their name down right away. Then if they actually show interest in a specific product, I write down that product, or I become a distributor, I write down DT. My goal is to get them from my journal to my calendar. So as I'm following up, I'm always looking for an opportunity to get a date. So once the conversation's going and going and going, and I'm like, hey, great, like, when would you like to get this? And they usually say payday, and I'm like, awesome, when's that? And I'll get you down for it. So I always ask for a date. I have a couple people that have told me in December. I have a couple people that have told me in January. So they're written down in my phone or on my planner, or both, so that I know to follow up. Now, with that being said, I wish you would have told me that. I would have counted everybody I had written down this month. But I've signed 5 little customers. But I can guarantee you, in my journal, I have over 15 people that have given me dates that have already happened. So they did not sign, and a lot of them have still not responded on the date that they specifically gave me. But what's great about asking for that specific date is, in my follow-up, I can hold them responsible for it. So, for example, the date comes, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so, like, I'm super excited. When's it going to be a good time to get that order in for you? And then no response. So then I'll message them. If I message them in the morning, then I'm going to message them again that night and say, hey, is now a good time? Like, are you off work? If they don't respond, then I'm going to message them the next day. And I'm going to say, hey, like, I'm ready right now. Like, are you still wanting to get this? And then no response the next day is, hey, girl, like, I'm not trying to bug you, but you told me that you were ready on Monday. And I contacted you on Monday, and I haven't heard back from you. So maybe I got the wrong Monday. Were you meaning a different Monday? And see if they respond. And I guarantee, and since I've started doing that and calling them out and saying, hey, you told me that you wanted this date, I get responses back. And I've gotten a lot of people to reschedule the date, which I'm okay with. As long as I can keep a conversation going and get them on for another date, then that's the goal, right? Is to have them give you a day, and it's them. It's their, I learned that from Jade Hooper. I'm not going to take credit for it, but that's our whole goal. The goal isn't to get them to sign right away. The goal is to get them to give you a date. And then you can hold them responsible for that date because it's what they picked. So it's on them. Was that what you were wanting?
Yep, I did. So a couple things to recap what she was just talking about is Do it however you want to do it, whether it's a calendar, whether it's a journal, however you guys want to do it. And getting them, and then like Tony said, getting them from the journal to the calendar. I used to do the paper calendar. Now I use my phone because I tried to lessen as many things as possible as I could get out of my brain. So journal to the calendar, journal to the phone, transferring that. I love that because then you're like, okay, the deal is sealed. You know, we're sealing the deal. This is when they're signing. Getting a date, getting a payday. Those are two of the most crucial things with follow-up, you guys, because then you're holding them accountable. Then you don't have that awkward place where you're like, well, you said you wanted to. I'm following up. And they're like, no, I'm not ready. I'm waiting till payday. Okay, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Are you ready? You're like, no, I need to wait till payday. So, you know, holding them accountable. So getting that date and that payday. And then I love the sense of urgency that Tanya talked about, saying, hey, are you ready? You told me you're ready. Waiting till they get off work and saying, hey, you know, I'm just trying to get a hold of you. You told me you wanted this right now. And then rescheduling the date. So keeping the conversation going, even if that first date did not work. So whatever way that it works for you, just set up that system so that you constantly have new leads going on that calendar at all times. So Tawny, when do you work your business? Every day.
That's funny. So I work it, I posted about this a few times, but if you did not see, I try to wake up. I will be completely honest with you, this week I did not wake up, but in the past I have been trying to wake up anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour early before my kids wake up, so I can get that solid time into personal development. Is something that I believe that everybody in this business needs to be doing, no matter if you just started today or not, because this business is mental. And if you're not growing mentally and you're not feeding yourself what you need, then you're going to struggle in this business a lot more than somebody that is. And personal development for me, especially in this last year, has been huge. So I know that I can't do that when the kids are awake. So I do that. In fact, my husband woke up last Saturday and he's like, why are you awake and out here already? The kids don't have to wake up. And I was like, yeah, but if I don't get this done, I'm not going to get it done. So I try to do that, and then I will follow up with my leaders, and some of the follow-up messages I do what Tammy did as well, and I go with who's already online and I message them if I have that time. But then I kind of work it around what happens with my kids. So I make sure that I do the income producing activities list. And then I usually actually try to wait for follow-up messages and even new messages into the evening when people are starting to get off work, and I have noticed a lot better feedback for that. But then at the same time, like Tammy, I go through who's just online, and I just message as many people as I can get in.
Okay.
But I will say that if you broke that down into like an actual amount, I would say that I work probably overall no more than 2 hours a day.
Yeah, and I mean, knowing your schedule and what you do, it's 10 minutes. Okay, I got to go pick up the kids from school. 10 minutes, I got to go grocery shopping. 10 minutes,
Exactly.
I got to go do the laundry. 10 minutes, I got to go do, breakfast, lunch, dinner. 10 minutes, okay, I got to go get Maddie from the bus. And that's the thing that I want you guys to understand about each one of these girls on here tonight. Tawny, Bobby, and Tammy. Tammy and Bobby both work. And moms, and I was thinking about this too, and Tawny's a stay-at-home mom, but guess what? All three of them have said they work this business around the same exact amount of time. Not a single one of them said they work this from 9 to 5. Not a single one of them said they work this for 5 hours. Not a single one of them said that they're, on their phone 24/7. That's why they got their Christmas cash. It's honestly, you guys, just being intentional, being focused, and having that game plan of what you're going to do for the next day. And to tie into this too, what Tawny's talking about is on a Zoom that we were doing last week, and it talked about being a scatterbrain. And that was something that I struggled with for so long, you guys, because I have such bad OCD that I was like, okay, I'm going to do the laundry. No, I'm going to do the dishes. No, I'm going to do my follow-up. Crap. Okay, I've got all three. Now I'm going to try to do all three at once. And then there was constantly just like too much going on. And so I had to really, this year has been a really year for me of slowing down It was a really year of slowing down and just being intentional with my time and not working myself to death. And that's something that I can tell you about each one of these three people that I've talked tonight, is that not a single person on here has said, I abandoned my kids, I abandoned my husband, I don't do anything for me. And like Tawny said, you got to fill up your cup, right? You got to fill up your cup. And so every single one of these people are just being intentional with their time, intentional with their follow-up, intentional with when I'm online, I'm looking for who's online. And then I love how you mentioned, Tawny, too, the income producing activity checklist. So those of you that may be new on here and don't know what that is, if you go to the files tab of the team page, you'll see income producing activity checklist. You can literally go down the list, you guys, and go check, 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 and it's going to help you feel accomplished. And then I'm the same way as you, Tawny. I follow up at night. I've always just seen better at night, but hey, you never know about morning with using the whole who's online. So I might try that now. Okay, so we've talked about a little bit about your follow-up, when you do it. I know you message a lot, but give me a little bit of a ballpark. How much would you say when you do sit down to follow up? Because I know you're Oliver, but how much would you say typically about a day that you would follow up with new people? Or message, actually, I should say, new people.
Strictly new?
Yeah.
At least 50?
And how many of those are a yes?
A yes, and get them in the system? None.
So how many times does it usually take you, or how many messages would you say it takes you a week to get a loyal?
On average, I would say a couple months.
Yeah.
And I message weekly, if not daily, on some of them. I would say that some people I can sign within a day or two. Some people a week, but I would say on average it takes a few months of me following up to get them to sign. Typical.
Yeah, and
I will say, sorry, the 5 that I've signed this month are people, one, I messaged and she signed up within a couple of days. 3 were all people that have been on my potentials list for months. And then the last one was actually a chicken list. So that was my old boss. And I messaged her and said, hey, like, I'm really close to reaching my goal. I only need one more person. Would you be interested in helping me out? And she did. So that was kind of cool.
who's used that before? I have a huge goal I'm working towards. Can you help me out? If you haven't tried that, try that this month, you guys, with the Christmas cash, because people want to help you. You just got to ask. You just got to open your mouth and ask, hey, can you help me? I've used that one quite a bit this month too. So really quick, I know that you message quite a bit. And then I also know there are some days where you don't. So for some people on here, because I'm the same way, I'll have, a really, really good day. And then the next day I'm just like, oh my God, it's 9:30 at night and I haven't done a single thing and I just need to go to bed. So for some newer people on here that maybe haven't gotten the, realization that not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be the 2 hours. I got all my messages, got my whole income producing activity checklist done. Like, this is just great. I mean, if you are, I want to come live with you. But every day is different in this business. It really, really is. So for you, Tawny, what would you say to just get you out of that? Okay, tomorrow's going to be a great day. Like, how would you, for somebody that maybe just right now, they're like, God, I really want these 4 loyals, but I'm just, maybe I'm just work my butt off. I'm not really seeing anything. And then, what would you say to them?
Wow, hit me with a hard one.
I know, sorry.
So I personally have struggled with that this month. So for me, again, it kind of goes back to personal development, but I also would have to say that there's a couple of things. You have to have that why super close and super detailed. As you'll learn in this and as you hear from us, you're going to hear all of us top leaders say this over and over and over again. It needs to be more than basic. You got to know it. You got to have the smells. You got to have the taste. You got to have the colors and the patterns you have to have everything so detailed onto what it is and why you're wanting it and what you want to buy your kids for Christmas, what you want to take your husband to on You know, every little detail, you need to have that so vivid in your mind because that's going to keep you going. And then also I would say do what's fun for you. If you're in a funk and you're sitting there thinking that there's just no way you're going to get these 4 loyal customers in the next 10 days, first of all, you're wrong. You are dead wrong if you think you can't get 4 loyal customers in the next 10 days. But I would say that you need to go put your computer down, put your phone down, and do what makes you happy and what gets you out of whatever mental funk that is. Sometimes that's a dance party with my kids in the living room. You know, like honestly, we play the music, I dance it out, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, my mood is just so much better. When I don't want to, like, I've had a lot of crap going on, and so I haven't wanted to get out of my bed. I haven't wanted to leave my bedroom. But, you know, at some point that's not a reality, and especially in this business when Christmas Cash, it's like, I'm not going to let this pass. Everybody can get 4 loyal customers. So, you know, you have to get out of that. So if it's go for a walk, if it's, you know, drink a cup of coffee, if it's having a dance party, if it's taking a shot, if it's reading a book, if it's calling your upline, whatever it is, you need to do whatever you need to do to get over that and get out of your own head. And then you need to change that when you sit down to message those people or to call those people, that they will say, yes, I will get these 4 loyal customers. They are going to want these products. They are going to respond to me. And as much as that sounds like craziness, it's true. If you have that in your head that they're going to respond to you, that you are going to get a yes, you're going to get a yes. You're sending that message thinking there's no way. I'm going to send this because I'm supposed to send this message, but it's not going to do anything. Then you're not going to get anywhere. And I know it sounds stupid, but I promise you it's true. So do what you got to do for you. Remember your why. And then when you write that message, believe that it's going to be a yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, and something that we learned last week too was learn to rest and not quit. Learn to rest and learn to take care of you and fill your cup up with personal development, fill your cup up with getting to team trainings, you know, talking to your upline, hanging out with your kids, whatever it may be, you guys. For me, mine's turning off my phone and just like taking a deep breath and turning on music and just like, you know, whew, okay, I got this, you know? And like Tony said, mindset is about 90% of this business, you guys, and 10% hustle. You've got to have your mind right. If you're not excited, if you're not passionate, if you're not thrilled to message people and say, oh my gosh, I'm going for $100 Christmas Cash right now, I could totally use your help. You know, you never know. You never know what the person's going to say. They may be like, what? I want to do it with you. So just be confident, be excited, and just be you. Honestly, this business is not hard, you guys. The only time it gets hard and complicated is when we make it complicated. So thank you, Tony. Do you have any other last things you want to add?
No, because if I get going, I won't stop. So you just finish.
All right. Oh, man. Okay. Well, thank you 3 so much for being on tonight. And I hope you guys took away some notes, some great pointers, some great tips, some great you know, little verbiage of urgency, tips of when to follow up, things to use for your follow-up, and know that every single one of you guys can get your 4 loyals and get your Christmas Cash. There's still plenty of time left in the month, you guys. 10 days, a lot can happen in 10 days. If you decide tonight that you're going to get your Christmas Cash, that you're going to get that $100, it's going to happen. Okay? So it's up to you. It is your choice. So decide tonight and make it happen. Really quick, I want to share what Tammy just said. She said, I've got people clicking like right now on my Hair, Skin, Nails post from this morning. They're watching and they really respond to personal results. The person I'm following up with later in the week forwarded my post to her daughter. Ah, love that. Yes, referrals are the best. Awesome. Well, thank you again, guys, for being on. I have this recorded, so I'll post it here in just a little bit. But go out and get your 4 loyals. Go out and get your Christmas Cash, and let us know when you guys have them, okay? Have a good night, guys.